Chris isn't going to be here.
Oh, that's what. Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Appreciate that.
Okay. Again, thank you for your support. We really appreciate it.
All right. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started.
You got to jump over the don't.
Do we have a brand?
Thanks, Jim.
We're supposed to be getting something.
See you, Jim. All right. Here. Couple things. All right. Anybody not sign in? Anybody not sign in? Anybody at all? All right. Sign in. Anybody, if anybody needs 50-50 raffle tickets. Okay, started. Come on, guys.
You're the bad part, Jerry. We're sober.
Gary, here's a pen.
I have one.
I did not know that.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started, please. All right. If you need 50-50 raffle tickets, see Russ. But we will go ahead. We have a decent amount of business material to get through, and then we'll do the technical thing. So I want to keep moving. I'm Jason, NADI, the president of our club, and we'll start at the back tonight with Doug, just to do the announcements, or the introductions go a different way.
Good to see you. Good to see you. We got people that you're. Are you doing that? Let's just do another story. We're recording the whole thing, so you can always pull the.
George,
Who's doing it?
Ted,
You shot a video. Look good, Karen.
What was yours?
88.
And the little Dorsey, Kilo Alpha 8, Oscar Alpha Delta.
Mark.
Up the other way.
Lane, 88 JJF.
Mark, KWD. Mike, Kilo Alpha 8, we're back to whiskey that time.
My name is Mark. I'm 2 8 Sarah Podford, Sarah. I'm Bob. That's B.O.B.
Forward then.
No call sign. All right. Start.
Stefan, November 8 Whiskey Bravo.
Gary, AA8CS.
Right, 88 QFT.
Try this one.
Yes, KA8 LYM.
Hey guys, we got a lot of people in here tonight. If we could just kind of keep the chatter down a little bit so we can hear.
Rob, KD8, you doing well? First time here.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Jeff, W8TV, treasurer, and in case you haven't heard, dues are due, so you can go on the website and renew. That would be fantastic, or send a check for cash, or we'll take just about anything. Thank you. I can go now.
Russ, KD8, BYT, 7 to 50-50.
Ride the bus with Russ.
I have a reader.
I got slides for that.
I have a credit card reader with me.
John, go ahead.
You're up. I'm John Benson, KA8 GKG. Dick, you're up.
Dick, K88. Joe 18, America.
In beautiful downtown Park.
Bill, NALCR.
We sat at the table for Christmas.
Dave, W8, DRF.
Wow, WDAKMT. Party.
That's April.
Nick, K8QKO.
Ryan, K5RFG.
Brian, K8FHG.
Randy, K8PLB.
And the lumberyard.
Not in the lumberyard. Hey, I'm getting dry down there probably.
All right. Approval of the minutes. I sent out the minutes from the February meeting a couple days ago. Any corrections or comments on the minutes before we approve them? If not, I'll take a vote. Oh, yeah, Zeke misspelled my first name. Eric, you got to fix Zeke's first name.
How can you misspell Zeke?
I don't know. So with the correction of Zeke's name, does anybody have any other, or can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Stefan, second. Marty, anyone opposed to approving the minutes?
Besides Zeke.
All right. Couple of upcoming announcements. The CFAR Camp Fest Electronic Show is coming up on Saturday, April 9th from 8 to 1. That's at the Medio and Sons Party Center where they already have it up on, is that Bath Road?
Yeah.
Right
Bath
on
Road.
Bath Road. There's $7 general admission. They are doing a license exam. If you're ready right at that particular time to do an upgrade. And obviously, there's a link to it on the website, but they have if you want to get a table and things like that, they have more information. Skywarn Training, if you're interested in doing the Skywarn Training, there's at least 2 area offerings for this. The first one's going to be March 24th at 6 p.m. That's one being put on by Wayne County EMA. It's down in Worcester at the Worcester Foursquare Church, 6 o'clock. RSVP is needed. I think that one's the one where you text a code to a number. www.kwky.org has the information on that. April 5th, 6 p.m., Summit County is going to be at the Red Cross at 501 West Market Street where Summit County Aries meets. Again, there's a form on that one to register for. I think you can probably still come even if you don't sign up, but I think they're looking to get, a good count. So if you think you're going to go ahead and sign up for those. And both the links are up on the club website. Any other announcements for the group?
The VE test is coming up April 2nd.
What?
VE test, April 2nd.
VE test April 2nd. That's the one in Sharon Center.
Sharon Center at the Methodist Church, yeah.
Of course, bus with us.
I got a slide on that.
Don't jump ahead.
Yeah.
Stark County has their Skywarn next Tuesday night at Jefferson High School at 6 o'clock.
All right, Jefferson High School. Where is that? Canton?
It's North Canton.
North Canton.
Just right off Arlington.
Okay, so Stark County is next. What?
Son Ledbrook.
Okay. Anything else? All right, Mr. Jeff, Treasurer's Report.
Yay!
With the wrong date. That's the wrong. This is.
Following after Gary.
No. Yours is fine. I copied the date and put it in the slide wrong. That's my fault.
All right, we have club dues that we took in. We also taken in money for the ham bench and bus trip. Russ will have more on that coming up, I'm sure. Shack Plaques, we did take in funds for that. Also, last month's 50/50 raffle. As far as expenses, we have SARA QSL cards and annual dues for the Repeater Council Fund. And then also, this is just an entry because they don't really take it. It's the $150 Winter Field Day Hall rental refundable deposit, which has been returned. Our balance is $7746.75, and $3,000 of that is for repeater replacement and maintenance allocation.
Any questions on the Treasurer's Report? If not, take a motion to approve.
Motion.
Stefan, second. Mark, all those approving the report, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
He said aye. He
All
just
right,
said it the wrong time.
Andrew, you don't want to be the treasurer.
Because you'll be the treasurer.
All right. Executive Committee report. Next order of business is election for officers. We have taken nominations in January and February for officers. Tonight we will be voting on those. Tonight, we're offering one slate of candidates since there's no contest in any of the offices. I'm running for re-election as president. Stefan is running for re-election as vice president. Jeff is running for re-election as treasurer. And then we would have a new secretary, Russ, to replace Eric, who is retiring from the role after several years. With that, I will put it up for a vote. Is anyone opposed to considering the slate of candidates in whole? All right, with consensus then, all those in favor of electing the 4 officers listed on the screen, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? No, we didn't have the budget for stickers.
I voted.
Because not everyone's paid their dues yet.
Next year we will. We'll have voted stickers.
All right, was there any abstentions? All right, so those are the new officers for 22-23. Again, looking for more people next year. I know I am personally, like I said before, not going to run for president in 2023, so we'll be looking for some more officers if you're interested. Find some ways to plug in to get some experience before the officer election. So
Let's give the current slate of officers a hand. Well done. Thank you for your service.
yeah, in particular Eric for the last couple of years for the secretary since he's retiring.
Absolutely.
All right, as Jeff mentioned, dues are due. Our fiscal year is April 1st through March 31st. Dues are $30 for regular members. That covers every member of the same household. You can renew online using PayPal or credit card, or if you want to do cash check or credit card, you can see Jeff. You could involve bartering if you have like livestock or something. We can work something out. That's like 6 chickens. Where does the money go? We do cover this in the treasurer's report. But obviously, we've put a lot of money into our repeater system over the years. We've put a lot of money into the equipment that we use for operating events like Field Day, Winter Field Day. We have the picnic and the Christmas party every year. We do things throughout the year that does cost money. We try to be very conscious with the money that we do take in. But most of the money that we do have as a club to put on our activities does come from dues. So please consider supporting the club going forward with your renewal. The executive committee met on March 13th. Kind of a smorgasbord of items here. John Wagner, NHCD, has been operations manager for a couple of years. He is going to be stepping down in that role formally. He's not going anywhere, but just was looking to turn that role over. So Gary is taking that over as operations manager and the call sign trustee.
Awesome. Thanks, Gary.
So,
Wait a minute. You guys trust me?
Yeah. We didn't say that. Nick said
we talked pretty extensively about the field day operations. One of the things we know is that room is very noisy when everybody's operating. It's a big concrete bunker. If you work someone on there, it's really echoey. So one of the improvements we're looking at for 2022 is going to be some sort of, we've talked about some barriers. We've talked about maybe noise canceling microphones. We're looking into a couple different options, but we want to try to cut down that noise. So Chris and ACP and the operations committee are going to brainstorm some of that work. We don't do a whole lot of virtual meetings, but we are going to be standardizing and making some directions available to use a tool called Jitsi, which is a web-based collaboration tool. I know that with some of the committees starting to meet, they might want to meet virtually just, more for convenience than anything. So we're going to have some how-to docs coming out and with some URLs we can use for those kind of things. The executive committee did approve the Helping Hands project that Dave, NTAD, is going to be heading up. We'll get some information, the final information up on the website here in the next couple of days. We're going to put a form on the website you can fill out, or someone can fill out if they need help. It's going to be very much along the lines of what we talked about in some of the last meetings, where it's really a way for the club members to help each other. It's not really going to be a helping everybody in the community thing. We may do one or two things if there's a real need, but it's really about the club members helping each other get antennas up in the air. If you have a problem with the shack, if you're looking for someone, to mentor you, we're gonna kind of address it that way. At the last meeting, Muriel, KE8GK, joined the. She's going to head up the education committee. So we were talking about some ideas for build projects and maybe a clinic on how to use your radio in 2022. So we're just finally getting that committee going. So keep an eye out for more on that.
Yeah, Miro.
We're encouraging you.
It's good when new members step up and want to participate.
Absolutely.
Any questions on the executive committee report? All right, technical committee. If you saw on the website, tomorrow there's going to be maintenance on the network and Alstar and Echolink structure for the repeater system. This is not being done by us. We're at the mercy of the upstream connections that we use. So that'll be tomorrow starting at 4 p.m., probably going most of the evening. So don't worry about it if it doesn't work all evening. We'll worry about it if it's not working on Friday morning. If that maintenance doesn't resolve some of the audio jitter problems that we've been having, John and I are going to be taking a look at overhauling the whole way it's connected right now. I know that there's been, especially during the morning barometer net, there's been a lot of problems with jittery audio, especially on Echolink and some of the All-Star network links. So the maintenance that's happening on the 17th is to increase some capacity in the server company that we use. If that doesn't fix it, we're going to be looking at moving the platform somewhere else and changing how the connectivity works. Any questions on the technical committee? All right, we have no operating committee report. We have no education committee report.
Soon.
What?
Soon. I said soon.
Soon. Social activities committee. We do have the hand bench and bus trip that was talked about at the last meeting. We did decide to formalize that. SARA is going to is organizing the bus trip. We're not sponsoring the bus trip, just to be clear. The bus will depart from Acme up on 18 in Montrose at 5:30 in the morning with a stop. What? Be there by 5. It will leave by 5:30. Be there by 5. That'll include a stop at McDonald's for breakfast. You'll get to ham mentioned at 9 o'clock. It will depart at 4 o'clock. There's a bus area. And they're going to stop at Cracker Barrel for dinner. Meals are not provided in the cost of the trip, but the bus fare and the entrance fee are included. It's $100 for the bus and the ticket. We have to have reservations in by April 15th because we have to tell the bus company in a couple of days. We need 35 people to make the trip sustainable for the cost. We have 15 right now. So if you're interested or you know someone who's interested, don't wait because if you get too close to the deadline and we don't have it, like I said, we're not. I mean, it'd be a couple grand for the club to foot the bill for the bus, and we're not going to do that. Yes.
I just wanted to mention also that if you want to tell other people, this is not limited to SARA members. This is wide open to anybody that would want to take advantage of the trip. So any club or even anybody that's not affiliated.
I think more than half of the people who have signed up are club members for the trip.
You're not even
Huh?
You don't have to even be a ham.
You don't even have to be a ham. If you want to ride a bus with a bunch of hams and be packed in
You're
there.
gonna have $100.
Yeah, Nick.
Will be a radio set up on the bus.
I don't know. Are you going to take a radio, Russ?
I'm gonna take my HP.
All right.
Because to put a mobile on the bus, I have to install it on the bus. They're Pioneer Club.
Be better than the Pioneers.
Communicate with your buddy.
Be better than the Pioneers.
Yeah. But again, I do want to emphasize, you know, the executive committee, we did decide that the club is not, especially since we expect a lot of non-club, we're not subsidizing the trip. The trip has to be done at cost. So if you know, talk to your friends, talk to people on there, if they're interested in taking the trip, we've got to hit that 35 people to cover the cost of the bus.
Let me just interject. This is not a fundraiser.
Yeah.
We're not looking to make any money on this. We're just looking to fill a void that was abdicated by the Pioneer Club. But if you want to go down to Hamvention for one day, you can't beat this. Seriously, if you buy a boat anchor down there, you take it back to the bus. It's close by, and you throw it in there, and it's safe. Then you go back to the Hamvention and have a fabulous day at the Hamvention. And then you go home on the bus, eat dinner, and sleep. And that is not a bad way to go.
The price of gas is gonna cost you $40 a gas to go there and back by yourself anyway.
At least.
That way.
Yeah.
So jump on the bus, you can chat with everybody on the way down, sleep on the way back.
Don't talk to me.
You can talk to everybody but Russ, apparently. But no, in all seriousness, I do want to reiterate what Gary said. The club is not making money on this. We're doing this, you know, pretty much at cost as a service. So if we don't hit 35, the trip isn't happening.
Yeah, you can't talk to me because I'll be driving the bus.
No, Russ, we're not waiting to ride the bus.
We're in trouble.
Yeah, Bob.
Is that a firm price? Because, I mean, gas could go up to $5 a gallon. And there ain't no way you're gonna drive a day for $40.
$8 for $40.
Russ.
$40 buys you 8 gallons of gas. I just did.
That's a fixed price, right, Russ? We have a quote for that. The bus?
Yeah, I got a paper at home where I paid the $100 and they sent me the thing.
That's what might be a real deal.
Yeah, well, that might be a real deal by
Way to
then.
go, and tell your friends. You don't have, even if you're not going yourself, tell your friends.
Tell your enemies, we'll drive them too.
I noticed the diesel fuel was $5.
I saw that. Yeah. Like I said, we got a quote from the bus company that lays out what the cost is, and our plan is to hold them to that. So.
Well, I'm sure that they don't buy it by the gallon, they buy it by the tanker.
Anything else on the bus trip? All right, Shack plaques. Gary was handing them out. They look really nice.
Real nice.
They're $15. You can buy them online. How much longer are we going to offer those for sale for?
Probably another month,
Okay.
or through the next club meeting, and we'll deliver the remainder at the club meeting. Is the plan. I will say this: we did get an order from one of our friends in Oklahoma. I did not figure shipping into the Shack plaque. However, I'm sure that was purchased to support our club and because they're just a great group of guys down there. That being said, we'll go ahead and ship that to them. If somehow there's people from other states that want a Shack plaque in the shape of Ohio, if that continues, we'll have to address the shipping piece to that. But at any rate, if you like what you see, I think a number of you have your plaque there. If you like what you see, then order those. Those are handmade by Jim Cummings, WB8 VMW, the Sergeant at Arms for the Barometer Net in the morning. He keeps everybody, including Dick, in line so that they don't cause all kinds of confusion and rebellion and all that stuff.
Nice.
So at any rate, if you would like one, please order it soon, and we're going to cut it off here in about, I don't know, probably 3 weeks or so.
I got a card. You can pay by the credit card?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's how you pay.
You go on a website.
It's right on the website, w8wky.org/
There's not a short link for it. It's
Oh, there
it's
isn't?
on-
Okay. So yeah, it's there. Just click on the link and you can order yours.
And to be clear, we prefer credit cards. It's much
Right.
easier for us to deal with credit cards than anything else. Nick, did you have something?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I believe Dustin is planning a trip to Oklahoma in the near future, so he might be willing.
Yeah, I'm gonna ship it to him. I want him to get it.
Yeah, 'cause I'm the one driving the Saturday, or you don't want to.
Oh, yeah, from Florida is gonna be ordering, I think maybe Wade.
Oh, Wade.
Yeah.
Well, I'll talk to Wade. He's gonna pay shipping.
He's coming back.
Yeah.
Wade's coming back?
Yeah, he's coming up to visit for, heading out to Oklahoma, I think.
Well, if he orders it, then we'll deliver to him.
Tell him to hurry up and order. I'm gonna be about 5 miles away from him in about 2 weeks.
Right.
There you go.
All right.
Well, thank you for that.
Any other new business from the floor before we finish the business part of the meeting?
One last thing. We have, I'm planning right now the field day, summer field day t-shirts. We're looking to have short sleeve and long sleeve t-shirts. We're looking at a unique, was that unique or unique?
Unique.
Unit.
Oh, okay. I get confused sometimes. Looking for a unique design. Well, we're planning a unique design, and so we're going to have both short sleeve and long sleeve tees for field day. I'm anticipating having the with your call sign available this year. Obviously, when you have to individualize a t-shirt, that's more money. And in the past, it's been $5. I don't know if that's what it's going to be this time around. I hope it is. And by the way, just know that is what the vendor. It's not. There's no profit involved there. He charges that. We tack it on. So it's just a customization fee. The reality is, I like to get a lot of SARA apparel out there so that we are known and the brand is out there. So,
And we'll probably be offering some of the other stuff too, right?
Yeah.
well, not for field day.
Right, but we're gonna do a spring sale too.
Oh yeah, we'll do a spring sale as well. But right now we're designing and planning the field day T-shirt, both a short sleeve and long sleeve T-shirt.
Cool.
Any other new business from the floor? All right, before we get to 50-50, we have a trivia. So the winner of the trivia gets this exciting Field Day 2021 sticker that I found in the bottom of the box.
Nice. Boy, this is a great contest.
It is. So Ed brought in you brought it in, right, Ed? Ed brought in a roster from SARA from 2014. So we currently have 148 active members, I think is what I saw on the sheet, Jeff. Come on, Jeff. You don't have this right.
148.
148. So how many, now Price is Right rules, closest one without going over, how many members did we have that were paid, dues paying members on that sheet in 2014?
14, 48.
We had 14, 48,
35.
35,
3.59.
3.59. I don't know how we have a half.
I know the answer, so I'm going to exclude myself.
Anyone else?
42.
50, 42,
67.
67,
55.
55,
There, going
63,
68.
68, 51, 78. Okay. Every one of you is too high. So no one has won yet. So, okay, yeah.
Hey.
Let's get a little closer.
Oh,
So the
man.
previous high was 44.
Okay.
Or no, 30. Someone said 35.
35.
Was it? I thought
That's what it was.
Is it 34?
I just got 14 now.
He said 14 euros.
I thought there was 34 on there.
No, there's 37 to not. That's 35.
Okay, who said 35?
Jeff.
That's my mistake.
That's it. There's the list, by the way.
30, we had 35 people in 2017.
Look at that.
Yay!
You're a rich man. I am now.
Now, since you won the prize, you gotta get someone else your tickets.
Okay.
How that works?
Yeah.
For the next prize, who was vice president in 2014?
Gary.
Yeah, Gary was vice president.
What's the prize?
Gary was the man.
Actually, I became president the next month.
The next month.
All right, 50-50. Go ahead, Russ.
Shake it up.
Oh, wait a minute. Whoa, Russ, you can't choose it.
I don't have any.
This young man.
No,
can
no, no,
choose
no.
it.
Or Dick's lovely wife.
Yeah, Dick's lovely wife.
I don't trust you, Russ. I'm just saying.
We just elected him secretary.
Just come right out and say.
Yeah, come on, go up there.
Go get him. Go get him.
Go get him, Tiger. Pick the right one.
All right, we sold
That would be mine.
We sold $125 in tickets. I don't do half, so the price is gonna be $63 for the winner and $62 for the club.
63 to the winner, 62 to the club.
There we go.
All right.
All right, Andrew.
All
I don't
up to
have
you,
one in there
Andrew.
either, so.
Do not grab Russ's.
I don't have any in there.
I know.
All right, real loud, read the number.
736-107.
107.
You got the wrong one.
Did I have?
Was it 736-107? Oh, Dick's got it.
Dick's got it. Woo! In beautiful downtown Firestone Park.
Good thing we didn't let your wife pick that number.
Yeah.
All right.
Now you're here, my fire, no fire.
All right. Any other business for the club before we close down the business meeting?
I'm gonna just say, you know what today happened? We had 4 events today. The barometer met this morning, the breakfast at 10, the meeting now, and tonight at 10 is the Borealis night.
Correction, pre-check started 9:30.
Pre-checks at 9.
That's right.
Stay late, hang out here, do your pre-check mobile on the way home.
Yep.
If you pre-check mobile, gotta take a pre-check, won't be home yet.
Nice.
All right, next meeting, Thursday, we're only, like I said, we're only meeting on Wednesday tonight to miss the craziness of St. Patrick's Day tomorrow.
Right.
In April, we're back on the third Thursday, April 21st, 7 p.m. Dinner, 5:45. If you guys want dinner, please try to get here close to 5:45 because that's what we've got them prepped for, kitchen and serving wise. Obviously, we will be right here in this room. You can come in through that door right there. As I said, put in the email, we are going to get served in this room now from talking to the management. That worked out really well last time. Everyone did a nice job of paying their tab. Thank you. So we'll eat in here. So if you want to come for dinner, try to be here as close to 5:45 as possible. Next month, Ken is going to talk about receiving slow scan TV from the International Space Station.
Nice.
Which I think you gave to somebody. Yeah,
Aries.
Somebody kind of Aries. Heard it was really nice. I'm looking
Great
forward to seeing that as
presentation.
well. Anything else? If not, I'll take a motion to close.
Motion to close.
Like 6 people. Eric will tag Marty for the official minutes. Second for Bob. All those in favor of adjourning the business meeting?
Aye.
Anybody want to keep meeting?
Aye, Captain. No.
All right.
Keep meeting.
We're going to take
We gotta do the event after it.
We're going to take a 3-minute break while we change out laptops for George, and then we're going to roll right into George's presentation.
All right.
Awesome.
Nice job, President Jason.
Thank you.
Where'd you buy it?
I bought Cam Radio out.
Remember you. I have to see what the present. I'd love to buy one.
I got a they've rubbed me the wrong way a couple different times.
So I mocked this up. Like I just sprayed it on a piece of vanilla envelope, right? But they make a 4. It's 4.5. This is slightly bigger. It's 4.5 by 3 3/4, I think. And this is scannable or this. And I'm instead of rather than handing out the brochure, give them this card, and then we can update the material. So if you guys like this, I'm going to get like
I
100
like
of these.
it. So the only thing that you might consider, and I don't know, I mean, tell me, this could be all wet.
Yeah, I'll
but
see you.
if you had, are you out of here?
I'm on.
All right, Marty. Take care. If you wanted to do a business card size.
Well, so I thought about that. The only thing is I did if a business card, I was afraid people would drop it and lose it. This is bigger. That they wouldn't just stick in something and lose.
Okay.
How many you get?
I'll get a couple hundred. I think it's like $25 for 100 or something like that.
Perfect. Yeah, I think it's great.
Okay.
I think it's a great idea.
Okay. All right. Give me your, yeah, you connected it, right? My coffee.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's right there. You mean the study? But we have, you have to get them on me, and then go on the roster. Look at my name. We ask any people like that for special to come in like last of the testing. That way yeah, we just have to hang out, get rid almost out of the there, so then we go. It's not a problem. No, yeah, it's an option, absolutely. Yeah, you're welcome.
Hey, but when the year I wasn't a member.
We weren't a member.
Last call for sign-in sheet. Everybody get signed in. I got you on here.
Well, times I wasn't a member.
It's more important you're here now.
All right. Everybody want to start migrating toward your seat?
Yeah, you got many people signed up yet?
We have a good group of them. I'll have to look on the website, but I think there were 6 or 8.
Okay. I might step in there.
Okay. Are we going to take the test?
Guys,
Extra.
all right, let's start.
I'm
We're going to get
been
started.
studying, but we'll see.
Sign up if you can.
Oh,
Okay. You got 2 weeks, so don't worry.
okay. Yeah, I'm working on it.
Well, I'll set back there. I wanted to find the.
Get the rod out.
Are you going in the back?
Get the rod out. You can rod.
Cattle quad.
Get the cattle rod out.
Yeah, it's fine by me.
I mean, I paid my.
Yep.
I might have to share.
All right.
Yeah, my what?
I'm going to introduce George, N1EZZ.
Yeah, George!
You guys, thanks so much. This is going to be, and I'm not technical. You all, a lot of you guys that know me or know that I'm not technical. I'm in radio, general class. A All I know about electronics is when you turn it on, it's not supposed to smoke.
No red flag.
There you
go.
That's all I know, but what I'm gonna do tonight, what we're gonna do next, we're gonna talk about chameleon balance, okay? If you all, I don't know if your hams have seen chameleon balance on YouTube, there is scores and scores of reviews, ham reviews on YouTube. They're all, as far as I know, all real good. I'm a big chameleon fan. I still work at my advanced age just so I can buy ham radio stuff.
Good plan.
Huh?
Good plan.
Well, I don't work a lot, but it's enough to keep my dear wife happy, so when I buy stuff. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna talk about several different types of balance. This is my balance here. It's a hybrid 2.0 mini balance, okay? This balance right here that I got, I ordered it specifically from Chameleon website. A lot of guys will go over to DX. That's a good place to buy stuff. DX is good. I ordered this thing with a 130-foot wire from Chameleon, okay? 130 foot for my end-fed halfway, okay? It's a real great antenna. 130 foot. It's got some really cool features as far as like these little nylon rings and plastic and stuff like that. You can put it up in the air. You could, if you want to do an L, you just run it up one tree here and take the other end and run it up over there. You can attach it to these lines here. I ordered 130 foot, which is nice. I'm a little skeptical about really thin wire. This is very good. When I go out and play radio, I normally fall down little ravines and stuff like that, and I'm just afraid I'll break it. So what I did, there's formulas all over the internet, folks, for end-fed halfways to make sure you have a wire length that doesn't conflict with the odd harmonics end-fed halfways. I built another one myself. This one's 148 feet. Okay, this thing will tune 160 meters with that balance. I don't go on 160, but I just kind of check to see if it will tune 160, and it will. I normally use, this is for portable operations. If I go somewhere like a Parks on the Air and soda, stuff like that, this is the balance that I would take. Chameleon has things that, instead of this stand is not part of Chameleon's product line. If you want to put this on the ground for vertical or NBIS, they have a spike, the stainless steel spike, okay? You can go ahead and pound this thing in the ground. You can go ahead and thread your balance on there, put your end-fed wire, and you can go up as a sloper, you can do it near vertical, you can do like a horizontal, almost like a dipole, but it's on a horizontal plane. I have a real quick short video, if we can get on the internet here, of the one we love the most is Gordon West. Okay, Gordon West had a Chameleon balance out in Los Angeles for Field Day 2014, and I thought it was so cool. He had the wire up about 8-9 feet, horizontal wire, kind of like an NBIS configuration. What was really cool, he had the balance on a tent post up here. The wire feed went that way. At the very bottom, there's a lug down here. There's a lug on the bottom. And what Gordon did was he took a jumper cable that you would jump your car with. Boom. One end here on the balance. He took the other end of the jumper cable. He had this 1970 plus whatever station, like a Ford or Chevy. I mean, this thing was a ship. And what he did is he took the other end of the jumper cable and right to the post. That was Gordon's ground plane for that antenna, and the performance was really, really good. Now I'll show that. He was hitting other stations all over the country. He's in California. He hit some girl in Hawaii. So what I want you to see is the very short part of that video where that balance is hooked to a jumper cable that's hooked to his bumper on his car. Use your imagination. If you're next to a semi and it's not going nowhere, that's a real drum, okay? So just, you have to use your imagination. That's what we're
Field day
going
will buy a big
I
conference
have,
container.
fun playing in
There
my
you go.
yard with different antennas. It's as much fun for me to play antenna as it is to play radio. Really, really like it. Again, when I use this for like a low, you'll see a little video, a low NBIS antenna. Take a ground spike, bam, in the ground, okay? Screw the balun on it. I've got the wire on it. You'll see this picture. I'll go out in my front yard. This is electric fence wire stuff that I bought at Tractor Supply. I put a bunch of these in the ground. My balun and spike is over here. I take the wire, folks, and I put the top radiating wire right here. And I got a whole bunch of these that go out 148 feet. It's like 3 feet off the ground, okay? Once the radiating wire is up, and I got it tied down, you'll see it. Once I have it tied down, the wire is 3 feet above the ground. I got a reflecting wire below it, okay? I love show and tell. Tractor Supply, 17-gauge electric fence wire.
Is that post plastic or metal?
That's stainless steel.
No. That goes from Farmer Tractor Supply.
Plastic metal tip.
That's plastic.
What is it?
This is
Right there,
plastic.
it's plastic.
Pass that around, pass that around. That is plastic coated, so it's
We're gonna have that around to this guy.
non-conductive. It's like about $4 a piece. I bought about maybe 6 months ago. Okay. But, that's in the ground, the radiating wire's on top, it's in a straight line. It's hooked to the balun, okay? I have a radiating wire on the ground, right directly, or I have a radiating wire 5% longer than that 148 feet. Underneath, on the ground, not hooked to nothing. It's just laying under the ground, and I go 6 feet on either side of that center line. I put down another radiating wire 5 feet longer, then I go to the other side and do the same thing. I have 3 wires actually on the ground. What does that do? That NBIS, what those wires do, regardless of what you say you're here or whoever on the net or on the internet, those wires for NBIS force the signal straight up. Figure like a 1-element Yagi shooting the signal straight up. Okay. I used to be a Mars operator. I'm a Shares DHS Homeland Security Shares operator, and there's a net every Wednesday. I set this thing up, and I have a switch. I've got a big loop, and I have this end fed. When I'm on the net, I'm one of the net controls. We have 3 regions, okay? Region 5, FEMA 7, and FEMA 8. That's out in Denver and South Dakota, North Dakota, what have you, Wyoming. When we have a weak station, I'll go click over to my NBIS antenna, and I'll listen. I normally can pick up the weak station because of the NBIS signal. Now, if the dude's out in Colorado, South Dakota, Wyoming, I'm not going to hear him, okay? But if he's somewhere like in Missouri, north and south or whatever in region 7, a lot of times I'll hear him and I'll roger him into the net, okay? No noise, low noise. This thing works so good, okay, as an NBIS only 3 feet off the ground. And I just did that just for monkeying around with those. For the sheriffs, it's just below 40 meters. NBIS works, NBIS signals will work normally for amateur hands, 80 meters, what's the 5? Is that 60 meters?
60.
Huh? 60 meters, all the way up to like 8 megs. That's about it for NBIS as far as getting that signal to go up.
160 as well, right, George?
160 also. You can do that 160.
Yeah, the wire that's on here, do you have to terminate that?
It's out. One end's on the balun.
Right.
The other end is free. At the very end of it, it's in the ground here, and there's a little ring. I have like a shower hook through the clip, and I have the shower hook tied off to basically a plastic stake that you would buy at Home Depot. and it's just nice and taut, nice and straight, and I have a reflective wire underneath on the ground, one on each side, okay? Works spectacular. Now, with 100 watts, I did this the other day. You'll see a quick little video. I put it back up. I took it down because of the, I just put it back up. I'm going to put it back up again. But just playing around, set it up, 100 watts, playing around. I hit a guy off in Pennsylvania. I checked in E-Cars 7255. That dude, net control, was somewhere in the mountains of Pennsylvania. I've got guys all over in Illinois, Wisconsin, Minnesota, out to about 400 miles, okay, on the NBIS frequencies, 8 and down. Now, for the heck of it, I tried 20 meters. It's not supposed to do this. I threw 400 watts to it. This will take 800, by the way. I threw 400 watts to it, checked in the mobile maritime net, 14300. My buddy Enrique from Miami had me weak, but he had me readable. It isn't supposed to do that. It's not supposed to do that. But I did just to see if it worked, and it did. Okay. It's not recommended for 20 and up or whatever, but I'm just testing this thing for George to find out what I can do with it. Okay. That was the short little NBIS thing, and I'll get to the videos here in a second. I have this stand. This is not a Chameleon product. Okay, this is a Chameleon cap hat. This is a Chameleon 17-foot extending width. This is really great stuff if you have a front yard and you can do this, and I love doing this stuff. Okay, this ceiling is too low. This is a part of a Chameleon antenna. This is like a little over 6. In my front yard, I'll take this, put it on top of the ballon. I'll take this cap hat, put it on top of here. I'll take the 17-foot whip, open it all the way up, and screw it on the top of here. And it's on top of this. This is close to 3 feet here. So I've got a vertical antenna with a cap hat. I put out 4 25-foot radios, just laying them on the ground. You hear people say, well, you can buy an antenna, but you don't need radios. Of course you don't. But it works so much better with radios. It works so much better. Okay? Sure does. So I'm up over 20 feet with the vertical. I'm in my front yard. I just bought an ICOM 7100 from here. I'm sitting in my car, got this thing up, tuned up. I'm on 40 meters, just monkeying around last week before it snowed. Guys, on 40 meters, 100 watts. I checked in, talked to some dude out in the parks on the air in Missouri, loud and clear. Went over, found another guy up in what's called the Nickel Belt in Sudbury, Ontario, 250 miles north of Toronto. Roley's his name. I know him from other nets. He had me, I'm going to say good and readable to loud and clear. I don't look at S meters, so he had me good and readable to loud and clear. So that's on 40, 2 stations on 40. Didn't have a lot of time. It was getting dark. Supper was getting ready. So I went over to 20 meters with this up all that way. I went to 20 meters and I found a guy in Italy calling CQ North America. And he would never hear me, but I went, tuned it, called, he answered me. November 1 Echo Zulu Zulu, he's somewhere in Italy. We chatted for a minute. He had me he said 5556, and I had this guy, he was just blasting. I don't know what he was using, but it was a really good signal. But that's all I did. That's all the experimentation that I did with this as a vertical, okay? In my barn, I used, one of the reasons I went and bought another radio, I bought it for the barn. I have in my barn, I have a little veranda out there, and I'm blessed with 7 acres with 100-foot trees.
Nice.
Okay? I have a pulley straight out across the barn that goes up probably 45, 50 feet. And I go all the way down. It's another 140 feet, 150 feet. I have another pulley that would take that wire up almost 100 feet straight up off the ground. So I'll hook up like an L with this 148 foot wire, okay? And I'll sit there and I'll just pick a band. I don't go on 160 much, but I'll jump on, 80, 40, 20, 10 meters, everything in between, and it tunes right up, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful job. So you can do any type of configuration with this thing. So I'm going to get into the PowerPoint slide here a little bit, explain some of this stuff. It's a little bit about Chameleon. This is not a Chameleon show, but it's just something that George likes these guys. I like the support they get. It's wonderful support. I like their products, and I'll share with you some of the other people around the world around that likes the Chameleon balance. There's many, many of them. They're very, very easy to put up. They're rugged. They're stealthy. Remember that word, stealthy. And they're used in a lot of applications by a lot of people, ham radio people, and a whole bunch of other people. So let me get with the PowerPoint here, and we'll see if we can shed a little light on this. All right. Again, there's another balance. I've got the mini. They have another balance called a micro. That's a smaller one, lighter one, not much. That's only 100 watt output. And these things are built like a tank. You can come up, take a look after we're done here. And things are built like a tank. So let's go. Let's see what we got here. Maybe not. Well, it's not working. Right. Well, my battery dropped dead.
You might have to
Just do it on the computer.
Huh?
Just do it on the computer. Hit the right arrow.
Sorry, folks. Give me a break here. Or give me a minute here.
Hit the escape button real quick, just so you drop out and then go back in. Nope, it's locked. It's this one.
Bear with me, folks.
There you go.
Do this again.
He's just gonna reopen it.
Okay.
That's a long. He's got videos.
Right.
There
Here
you
we go. We got it. Thank you, guys. This is the Chameleon website, okay? There's just a ton of stuff on there that you could look at. Anybody that really wants to take a look at a deep dive in testing, one of the people or one of the groups of people that test these antennas is the United States Army, their Signal Corps. This is a report, 26-page report I found fascinating. Chief Warrant Officer, Second Class, Anthony Jabber from the Signal Corps. They're out in Fort Irwin, California, out in the Mojave Desert. Chameleon gave them a box load of antennas to try and test in normal Army field conditions, okay, deployable. Dismounted infantry, they call it. When I was in the service, they were called ground pounders. Nice name now.
Yeah.
Dismounted infantry. Very, very interesting. If you got a chance, I don't know if I can get on that thing. But that is gonna load. Do that.
Hey, George, go back to PowerPoint, hit escape to stop sharing your presentation so it goes up there.
Escape?
Yeah. In Power, you have to be in PowerPoint.
Huh?
Go
Be in
into
PowerPoint.
PowerPoint.
What am I doing now?
Show him, Jim. What?
Oh, yeah. Do you want me to start passing out?
I don't know. You can ask Jason circumstance.
Okay.
I don't have to go on. We're not gonna go on the Chameleon website. Just Google Chameleon and go on and take a look around at their different products. They have a lot of very good antennas, small, portable stuff. They're rugged. They're really rugged too. I'm just gonna go ahead and go on with
Put your presentation back.
I told you I wasn't technical. All right. Try this again. Maybe we will. Okay.
Yes, there you go.
Okay. Here's some of the clients. Here's some of the Here it is, 82nd Airborne.
What that two up there, I know somebody.
Yep, 82nd Airborne. Next one's Big Army. Air Force, U.S. Air Force, probably the PJs. These are light tactical antennas that are very mobile. Normally, military uses, I'm talking about, the Army, Air Force, these other people that are using L3 Harris radios. They're called ANC PRC 150 C model. Okay, these things are HF, VHF. They're encrypted. You can do a talk chat. And I've worked, guys, when I was a Mars operator with these things in the field. They only put out 20 watts. Okay, the man pack. Now you can take that radio into a command post, set it on top of a 400 amp amplifier. Go ahead.
It's in the head, the PRC 25. We had the RT 524. Big radio, right? It had a face plate. Don't carry it by a face plate. The face plate. It looks like a handle, right? Yeah, it'll fall right off the radio. Break your foot. That's a long time ago. I wasn't during the Vietnam era. I was lucky.
Big Army is using these now, okay? The Marine Corps with the 26th Marine Expeditionary Force of you floating around out there somewhere, they're using them for a tactical antenna too. Either this or some other portable, we'll talk MCOM 2s and the MCOM 3 portables, we'll talk about that. But these military people are using this now instead of the Harris, very, very expensive and complicated other types of tactical antennas. Just a man pack with 20 watt output, he's walking around with a collapsible with him. Okay. But when they get to a place where they want to set up a permanent, like a small base, like a little outpost or something like that, they'll set up other types of antennas. They have like an AS2259, DX Engineering sells something like that. You'll see the picture. Here's some of the state agencies that like this too, okay? Here we go, Nevada, New York City Fire Department, Florida National Guard, Tennessee National Guard, Alabama, and then Oregon. And I think there's more. This is a little dated. This is off their website. These are just some of the customers. Very portable. And again, these aren't hams. These are used by these people in very dire situations, okay? Combat, whatever, state agencies, any natural disaster, let's pick one. They'll deploy. The wildfires season in out west, Oregon, California, Nevada, all of that stuff. There's wildfires out there and the Red Cross and everybody wants help with it. But there's a big hole in the ground out there because a lot of times they have to use HF instead because they don't have the repeaters to put up because the fires are so vast. It might be several states, okay? So they use HF. They're using chameleon antennas. And again, proudly made in the USA. They're made in Sparks, Nevada, okay? There's the balun that I'm talking about here that I mentioned to you guys selling stuff. I use it like an NFED. I use it for like a low NBIS. You could use it as a higher NBIS. Okay, very versatile. I enjoy playing with it. But there's other types too. Here's the specs on, what I had mentioned earlier, NFED. The Chameleon version he sent me was 130 feet. I made one a little tougher, a little longer on a 12 gauge or 14 gauge, 148 feet. Works like a ding dong. Nothing wrong with the Chameleon one. I just want a little longer wire. Okay. There's another one, a very portable one, the MCOM 2. You could use that for base station or portable. Here's a dipole MCOM 3, very portable, light, easy to, basically it's very mobile. You go out, you can find two places or three places, you hang it up, it's a dipole. Okay. There's one that just came out. It's a terminated terminated dipole. Okay. Here's one of the ways that they put up that terminated dipole, just as a sloper. Okay, if you all can see that, I can get out of your way. Here's the dipole configuration here. And I made a little note at the very top. It says, have you ever heard of a V-beam? Have you ever heard of a V-beam? You can take a terminated dipole like this. They've got the resistors on both ends. You have it in the dipole configuration. But if you take these two things here, these resistors, whatever, and bring them in together and just narrow that, we'll stake them out again. Now you have a directional V-beam. That signal is going to go that way. Okay. A Ray Solid used to spell them or send them, and they were like almost $1,400. All it is terminated dipole. You bring the wings in, and they basically, you make a directional antenna out of it, is what I'm trying to say. I've got a friend back there in the red hat's got one from the military a long time ago, and that was made just for that, okay, to be a V-beam or dipole. But that's just some of the antennas. Here's the AS-2259. The Army still uses this in the field. You can see these on the DX Engineering web pages. It's still very popular. They'll run two different bands or whatever, and the Army uses them, and they hook up a balun and whatever, and they, go to it. Again, these are just to show you how a lot of this stuff here for big Army and stuff has been replaced. Okay, very light, very, it can be used. Okay. This is that 96-inch whip on top of the balun here. It's on that stand. A friend gave me that 96-inch stainless steel whip. I want to see if it would tune up. Okay. Well, I put it on there and tuned it up in the house. It worked. I worked 40 and 20 with it. It worked good. Nothing spectacular. It was only 96 inches long. Okay. But it worked good. I took the balun and the whip off, went and put it on the trailer hitch in my car. That's the balun on the trailer hitch. I put that 96-inch whip on top of that, backed out, drove down the road, and I tuned it up, drove down the road, got out of the hole in the valley, and I was making contacts on 40 meters, no problem. Guys in Toledo or Indiana or Chicago, and I just drove out around the block just to see if it would work, and it worked. If you're hard up for a cheap mobile, that will work. Okay. Again, this is kind of cool. This is going to be mounted NBIS antenna. Okay. This is the way I set it up. It's a short little video I shot with my phone in the front yard, but you'll see it. Okay. Can't hear it. Anyways, there it is. There's no audio. I just have to tell you what it is. Again, 3 feet off the ground. There's the spike, the balun. There's a radiating wire on top. On the bottom, I have that basically the aluminum wire. Again, for the NBIS, that aluminum wire on the bottom, the reflector, is 5% longer than the 148 feet. Okay. There's a reflector on the ground. You can't see it, but there's one over there and there's one over here. I did use it on the sheriff's net, that Homeland Security net that, I play with.
Is that what you use on the sheriff's
One
door?
of them. One of them. Either that one or the big one, and you're always logged for it. Always. You should be with the one.
Yeah.
But that's it. That's my stealthy antenna. If you don't want to be seen, you could go into the tall grass near a creek or something like that. And you can put that thing in there, and if you don't want somebody to, like your wife or somebody to bother you, they'll never find you. Here's the end of it. There's one roll of wire. The antenna's in the middle. That's the other end. No, that's the middle, and there's another one over there. So that's it. You basically can see, and it works. It really works good. Now I'm going to play Aries, I think, and I think Sarah might have it again. That NBIS thing in April.
Next 23rd.
Yeah,
that's Ohio Aries.
Yeah. Ohio Aries. I'm going to set up another. I'm going to put up a loop in my front yard that's 9 feet off the ground, 288 feet around. I'm going to be on that net just to see what. But the principle's the same. It's going to be at 9 feet. I'm going to have reflectors underneath the radiating wire, and I'm going to have other ones inside and outside of that radiating wire. Okay. Portable vertical. I talked about that a little bit. We talked about this already. Here it is out in the front yard. There's audio to this, but it's not working. But again, to be redundant, it's up. The width is up 17 feet. That 10 or 6 foot sections above the ballon here. The cap hat's in the middle, and then the vertical width's up top. So you basically have seen it there. That's it for that.
Cool.
Okay.
George,
That's yeah.
what's the value of that balance?
Say again.
That balance, is that a 9-1 balance?
Okay, it's about 9-1. Okay, 2 or 3 years ago, maybe it changed. They were like a 9-1.
I'm surprised.
2 years ago or 3 years ago, they changed the
You already said it does.
the balance. They changed the balance down to what I believe to be a 5-1. I thought I read that somewhere, but I think it's a new 5-1. And now this is called the hybrid 2.0. It's a brand new balance for Chameleon. Okay. And it's just, again, the mini is the more higher powered. My spec sheet said when I got it from Chameleon, it said 800 watts. You can go buy them at DX Engineering and other places, and it says 500. So I use 400 watts in my base station, and it's absolutely spectacular. Okay. But anyway, here's another little thing that I did. This goes to, folks, how efficient this thing is. How efficient, and how well it works. I have that thing on the tripod, okay, and on top of it, you can't hardly see it, but up here somewhere, there's a vertical wire that goes up about 90 feet. I've got a pulley in the tree. It kind of holds my big loop up. I took the loop down, rolled the wire up, get it out of the way, set this up, and I took a 90-foot piece of wire, put that on the balun first, laid it on the ground, took another piece of wire and put a second wire on top of this balun. I took the first, once both wires are on there, the other wire is 130, 140 feet. It went up in another tree that I have the loop on. It was up every bit of 70 feet. And then it went out another 100 some feet, almost 80 feet or so south of my house on another tree. My house, I've paid big money to have people climb up to fully trees.
Nice.
That's why I work still. So I got this thing all set up. I've got one straight wire straight up. I've got another wire coming off that's going way over there, up high, and off. Once it's all the way to the top here, it goes all the way out here and it's up there on another pulley and it's sitting there. My friend Rick Niemer, sitting back there, that guy in the blue shirt, loaned me a whisper light beacon. Little tiny, you guys ever seen it? Little
Yeah.
whisper light beacon. Okay? And they use this, not knowing any.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I don't want to. Anyways, I hook up this ballon, or this little beacon rather. Okay, and I let it run on 20 meters all night long and then till the next day. This little whisper light beacon output on that thing is 200 milliwatt. 200 milliwatt, okay? That's all it puts out. There's the one tree, and there's another one way over there that's as high as that, okay? Okay, after 24 hours on 20 meters, this is what the 200 milliwatt has proved on 20 meters, okay? There's Antarctica. There's Australia, some other rock over there, I don't know what that is. Nailed Africa, South America, all over Europe, all over the US on 200 milliwatts. I was proud, not knowing what I didn't think I was going to get anything. But that's, not knowing anything, like I had mentioned, I showed it to some people and I said, "Woo, that's pretty good." So I'm very proud of that because I didn't think it would do anything. I didn't think it would do anything, folks, but that's the only band that I played with the Whisper thing. So that was really kind of cool. Here's Gordo. I don't know if this is going to work or not. We can try it.
I don't know.
There's what's in Gordon's.
I like that car.
It's a ship. You don't want to have those.
Do we have a sign-in sheet?
No. Okay, now here comes the Hawaii contact. They'll show that ballon with the jumper cable on it. If the world was as nice a guy as Gordon West, we wouldn't be on.
Yeah.
There's the ballon. There's the jumper cable. I just wanted you guys to see that. It's like 8 or 10 feet off the ground. That thing goes to that ballon, or that jumper cable goes to the bumper. That's what I wanted you to see.
Yeah, jumper cable. That's great.
Yeah, I saw that.
That car is a ship.
Hook up your brothers.
Mm-hmm. You can.
All right, that's Gordon. I thought it was very interesting to see that. I couldn't believe what I saw. We have a jumper man, and I tried that on by my barn. I hooked my tractor to the other end of it. Honestly, it still worked very good. I couldn't hook it. Now, this is the chameleon bound type stuff that I've done with this side of the presentation. I just want to throw something out there for everybody just to think about this. Okay? What if that we have a catastrophic event here in our neighborhood? I'm not knocking repeaters, 2 meters, 440, great, that's wonderful stuff. But what if something catastrophic happens? We've had, years ago, we had tornadoes down in Xenia. Our new place for hemvention is a tornado magnet. What if something happens? We had earthquake tremors in Cleveland. I was at lunch once. I had had a job. When I had my company, I went to lunch and I'm sitting there near West Side. We had a tremor, and all the glasses went kind of walking across the table. The potential is here. The New Madrid Fault around Missouri, St. Louis. What if something bad happens? The pictures I'm going to show you now, these just chameleon balance, any piece of wire, and maybe a tuner like an AH4 icon or something. If a disaster strikes and it's all wiped out, which happened in Haiti in 2010, which happened in Key West after Maria. I mean, the infrastructure was gone. Okay. So I'm going to show you some pictures of some of the deployments that I was on, just to show you how bad it can get and what you might have to do, crawl out from under some rubble and maybe put a station on the air. The radio survives, the tuner survives. You don't have power, there's going to be vehicles that are, trashed. You go out with a pair of wire cutters and cut out a battery, now you got power. Okay. These are just some of the pictures. I just want you to think about this. Things are touchy here in our country today. We have an open border. We want to get into other politics. We have Afghan refugees, 78,000 of them coming in from Afghanistan. None of them been vetted. So just think about what's going on, and then remember Ukraine. Okay? This is Hurricane Sandy. Mel Vai, a friend of mine, he and I deployed with the Red Cross. This is off their New York television. If you ever been to the Statue of Liberty, that was totally underwater, okay, when that tidal surge come in. Okay? New York City was on the counterclockwise rotation, where the real strength of like a hurricane, the counter rotation like this in our hemisphere is much stronger. I come ashore around Atlantic City, but up in New York City, which is not far, that thing was a monster, and it just flooded everything, tore up all the power in Staten Island, and all the power lines and stuff. But that's just one. That event can happen. Not so much here. It's a hurricane. I want you to remember, if you think hurricane damage doesn't affect Ohio,
Wait for the rain. Good.
You people remember Hurricane Ike years ago in Texas. Billions and billions of dollars, okay, of damage. The second state that had the most damage cost was the state of Ohio. We had hurricane force winds here. Hurricane Ike, look it up, okay? So winds like that can happen here. Disaster like that can happen right here in Ohio. Internet, cell phones, whatever. This is the cell phone towers on St. John, Virgin Islands. After Hurricane Irma showed up first, 12 days later, Maria showed up, another Cat 5. St. John was already trashed, it just blew the junk the other way. That's all it did, okay? That is your internet. Nothing. Everything was gone, okay? Everything, all critical infrastructure was gone. There was no power. The emergency power, if you had a generator, you had to guard it with your life, because civil order broke down. There was like rioting. There was a lot of thefts. We had one homicide. I was there. They had one homicide, and a whole bunch of other people died. So totally with nothing. There was nothing. It took. Okay, this is an island. Okay, it took like normally 72 to 96 hours. Help couldn't come. Okay? There is no roads in the Virgin Islands. There was no roads in Puerto Rico. So it took a lot longer to show up, for help to show up. What showed up was the United States Navy, United States Air Force, Marine Corps. I was never so proud. I got to see the incident command system. A big deal, a big one. Okay, Hurricane Maria wiped out all of Puerto Rico, but it was. I can't tell you how great it was if you like this stuff. and I'm a nut job when it comes to MCOM. It was great to see all of this stuff, okay, work. But it was late coming there because the people lived on islands, okay? There was no immediate relief. You ever hear a big cat fight? I don't think, that sound's not gonna work, okay? So that's Maho, that was Irma before I got there. Maria showed up 12 days later when I was there. It was just as bad, cat flood, 200-mile-an-hour plus. Critical infrastructure. This is an ice storm, folks, down in western Kentucky. Everything was gone. There was no landline, no satellite microwaves. There was no UHF, VHF, 800 or 700 communications with the public service. Okay, we had a mobile HF, worked like a champ, and the guy also had a WinLink terminal in his car and was sending HFC in Kentucky. I borrowed this from the sheriff's guy from the head shed, Steve Waterman. He's the admin director for WinLink. Okay, but just to show you, all the equipment on that tower right there, after it thawed out, they had to scrap it because that ice and the weight damaged everything beyond repair. So they had to junk it all off. And the tower was good, so then they had to replace it. Okay. This is a tornado. If you guys remember, in 2011, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, there was a terrible, terrible tornado. Some places it was 2 miles wide. It went on for over 200 miles. Okay, everything was down and gone. Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, other places, and you got outside of some of Birmingham had power and lights, and basically it came through there and flattened everything. That's a mobile home. There's another mobile home. This is an EF5 tornado. They don't come any higher. EF5 will suck the bark off the trees. As it crosses the highway, it'll suck the asphalt right off the ground. Okay? That's how bad it is. Okay. There's another one, another mobile home, another mobile home. That's a big semi, pop can blowing across the field. This is actually, this here is in Haiti to jump around a little bit. January 2010, Haiti had a 7.0 earthquake. Catastrophic event, lost all communications, lost everything, okay? This is just one building. I took these pictures here. Well, this is out of line, I'm sorry. The last one was Haiti, we'll get back to that, but this is Tuscaloosa. Everything is gone. The guy's house and everything that they worked for is gone. Somebody showed up with a tent and a little shelter thing. They got a generator. We dropped off a whole bunch of water and food, and we had like MRE stuff that we left, quick meals or something. We just loaded them up, drove on. We just followed the debris field, finding people like this. Oh, I got to the end. I didn't want to do that yet. Haiti. Okay, Haiti, it happened. I was one of the 5 Mars radio operators that deployed to Haiti. Everything was gone. The University of Miami, Florida, medical hospital in Miami has still today has a field or hospital in Port-au-Prince. Okay? When the earthquake happened, okay, the whole hospital collapsed and killed a whole bunch of staff, killed a whole bunch of patients and everything, as with other structures. So 3 ham radio operators left on Haiti that actually got on their radio. Somehow they got their radio operational. They got on 14300 Mobile Maritime Net and called help. Okay, that's how the ball started. The guy that called help was a guy named Jean Robert Goulet. He's a friend of mine. I met him when I was there. Okay? He's just a class act. He's been in Hamvention and stuff. He's just a good guy. And just to show you, the ham radio in a catastrophe works. No matter what, you'll find a way to put power to it. You can find something to to tune it up on some piece of wire or bed spring, pick your poison, whatever, and you could put out the SOS call. So,
Or you might have a chameleon balance.
yeah.
If you're lucky.
If you're lucky. Or there's other ways. I'm not just a chameleon. They're wonderful and they would work just great. But there's other ways. But the point, ham radio itself, just if it wasn't for ham radio operators, amateur operators, Hurricane Katrina. Okay, everybody showed up for that one. I'm a Mars operator then. I was a Mars operator then. Wanted to go real bad. Salvation Army was down there. Everybody's down there, but they had comm problems. Okay, it would have been simple. I could take anybody here and go down there and throw a wire in the air, NBIS wire, and I'll be talking to somebody somewhere. But they didn't have that at first.
I deployed in New Orleans.
Did you really?
3 weeks after Katrina. Yeah.
God bless you. God bless you. Who was the Red Cross?
It was Red Cross. We were stationed 4.5 hours north because they had power there. We took a weekend trip down to New Orleans proper. Yeah, exactly 9-foot water lines in all the houses. I mean, it looked like one of those post-apocalyptic movies.
Oh, yeah.
When do we have to get it?
One thing about, I'll go back to St. John, Virgin Islands, okay? We had like 35-foot or 40-foot waves out in the ocean. Downtown Cruise Bay had an 18-foot tidal surge. And there's pictures on the internet of downtown Cruise Bay. Weird. I was down there about a day and a half after, okay, when I got relieved. We went down and just drove around. You couldn't believe the junk on the road. The buildings were pushed over. There were 2 100-ton ferries that were pushed up on the beach, sitting on top of each other. There was and I got a picture of this. It's, the Coast Guard had like maybe an 80 or 90-foot cutter. It's washed up on the beach downtown Cruise Bay by a bar, okay, laying on its side on the rocks. There were giant ferries, okay, giant people ferries that when the tidal came in, these things were on top of the tidal surge. They sat down on top of buildings. The water went out. And here's these great big ships sitting on top of buildings downtown Cruise Bay. You can Google Hurricane Maria or Irma for the Virgin Islands or Puerto Rico. Catastrophic. Okay, nothing. There's nothing left. Then you basically you got to pick up the pieces and go on. But ham radio and I'm pushing. Today I'm talking about all these chameleon products. There's other ways too that are just as good. I favor these guys. They're really kind of a new player, and they do very well. They got some big federal and state customers. So that's pretty much it. And this is how I'm going to close it. We don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. We never know. Do you see the Twin Towers?
Yeah.
I did that on purpose. So I hope you liked it.
It's great. Thank you, George.
So just to follow on what George was talking about, I don't remember. Doug, I don't know if you go or Ken. When's the Aries NBIS Day?
23rd
Of April.
of April.
So, so the stuff that George has been talking about is stuff that you can do during NBIS Day, and there's hams all over Ohio who are setting up very similar stations that you can do, near field, close in HF communications on NBIS Day. I mean, there are people in the field to test that out. So if you want to experiment with some of these things, that on the 23rd is a good opportunity to do that.
Is there going to be any place, big field area where people are going to set up and go and talk to people, or are they just going to do this on their own little spot?
I think it's on their own. Yeah, it's usually on their own. I mean, some groups will do that. I don't know of a group around here that has like an official NBIS Day thing. I mean, I'm sure there'd be people who'd be interested in getting together to do that. What, M2?
No, I was going to say, I'm part of Medina MCOM's group. We're doing it out at the lake. Where do we meet now? We meet not in the sheriff's office. The lake they used to have the amusement park. What was it like? Chippewa Lake, we meet out at Chippewa Lake, and they're gonna do it out there, and they welcome people in if they wanna come, but it's not an event.
It's, NBIS is near vertical incident skyway. So essentially it's HF radio that you're shooting instead of, so if you think about the Earth, right? Normally you want your HF to kind of go long so it hits off the atmosphere and bounce. NBIS will shoot it straight up in the air and then kind of back down. So it's two different types of the use of HF antennas. So especially on lower bands like 80, 40, if you build like a very tight V-shaped antenna or certain types of antennas, you'll essentially send your signal pretty much not directly straight up, but at a high angle, and then when it reflects back down, you're making a very sharp V down to Earth. So, like I'm going to do a presentation on it eventually. Like we have them for work. I work for First Energy, right? We use HF radios to cross state boundaries because the different state radio systems aren't compatible with each other. But I talked to George for work purposes, which is kind of fun. I check into the FEMA Region 5 net that George is one of the network controller operates from and shares licenses because I have a federal radio license as well. So the system we have, I can talk to HF in around like Ohio, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Indiana, Kentucky. There's